On this episode of DC On Screen, we are talking about our return to the DC animated universe, Justice League versus the Fatal Five.
It's been a while.
It absolutely has.
We're going to get more into that
after this.
Here soon.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
You think of Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe, but a multiverse, where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next. Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
Hey, welcome into DC On Screen. I am Dave, and I am just letting you know that we wound up with a pretty busy schedule this week, and I didn't really have time to really keep track of the news, but we were going to try to do a rewatch and review of Batman 89. That movie is 30 years old this week, and we've been promising our good friend, Chris White, that we would review it with him, and by God, we almost got it together. But stuff fell apart on his end, and with work, and then there were some quality issues that Jason was concerned about as far as doing a phone interview, or a phone review, I should say. So we wound up postponing it, and we both kind of thought, well, we do have a Justice League versus the Fatal Five review that we never released, so let's release that and collect ourselves. Get it together, damn it. And that's where we are. We will do that Batman 89 review, and we will make good on that promise. I'm not sure when it will happen. Before we jump back in time to our review, I want to remind you that we are on Patreon, patreon.com/DCOnScreen. $5 a month gets you extra content like Jason's pull list, where Jason reviews one of the comics he buys every week, Chasing Squirrels, one of the strange tangents we excise from the podcast, Marvel reviews, and so on. Also, I never talk about this, but if you do want DC On Screen swag, a shirt, or some sort of other apparel, DCOnScreen.com, and click on shop. All right, one last thing, I promise. One last thing. Right near the end of this review, my house lost power. And it's one of the rare instances where Jason and I are in the same house. We're in the same room. And I think there's something in the review. I haven't gone back and listened to it. But there is something in the review that I think we talk about it. We talk about that. But I lost power. I have a battery backup surge protector. Totally saved our asses. But it freaked us out. I am leaving that in. You can actually hear the computer working, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Hope you enjoy the episode. See you next week. Welcome into DC On Screen. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
We've been recording for hours.
Hours and hours, and now we're talking about Justice League versus the Fatal Five. All right, so this movie was okay.
Enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I feel like, it was one of those things where the majority of the movie, I felt like they were just really, I'm not used to looking at you. Are you looking at something trying to get my attention? Or?
No,
okay.
I was awaiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the majority of the movie, I was sitting there going, this is, I feel like, a mediocre movie that they are just trying to win us over with nostalgia on.
No, I didn't have that feeling.
But then by the end of it, I was like, oh shit, there are actual stakes here, and the sun is about to come apart, and this character is going to sacrifice himself for it.
Yeah. I thought it paid off hugely.
It did pay off hugely, but
You felt like they were using the old voices, and you were like, "What are you doing to me?"
Well, they're using the old voices. Are you manipulating me? Yeah, they were using the old voices, and then when, like, every time the characters would show up, it would be like do-do-do, do-do-do.
Yeah, they used the old music. Yeah.
And they were using the old music, and that made me happy.
Yeah.
But then, like, I was also going, like, what are we doing here, though? Like, I don't care about this Fatal Five. I don't.
It's just another villain. It's Justice League. They'll defeat him. What are we doing? What's the point of this movie?
Right. And like, okay, we got Jessica Cruz. That's cool. And they mentioned John. Cool. So we know Jon Stewart's there. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Okay. There's Kyle. There's John. Which their version of Kyle didn't look like the Kyle from Justice League. But Superman. But
yeah.
Whatever. He didn't necessarily have to completely. They've changed the designs plenty in this continuity.
Kyle's changed a lot.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun to see those guys back and hear their voices.
Mm-hmm.
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were used well.
They were used well.
Altogether, I think it was a pretty tight movie.
It was. It was.
Like, I get why kind of in the middle it felt maybe a little bit ambling.
It did. I was sort of just, what are we doing?
I get that. It does kind of, and I'm calling it a tight movie because the end, in the last 15 minutes, you kind of realize, oh, this is what we're doing. And they wrap it up pretty well all at the same time.
Well, I also found out, I read later, like after the movie, I looked it up. And it was not originally supposed to be in the DC animated universe. Like they were supposed to use the same art design as the Justice League Doom.
Yeah. Huh.
And, so, and then they were like, no, let's make this, blah, 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 blah. And then Bruce Timm's like, I consider this canon. And I'm like, you consider a lot of things canon.
Yeah,
buddy.
I'm not sure we trust you.
Yeah, not after Batman and Harley Quinn, I don't trust him.
You're not on the list anymore, buddy.
I mean, he's on the list, he's just...
And he's on probation.
Yeah, probation is not restriction.
He's on probation.
But it still had Alan Burnett and, Sam Register and all the appropriate people, I think.
Right.
But, by the way, did you notice who was doing Two-Face's voice?
No, I meant to look up the cast for this whole
because I was sitting there
movie
going,
and I didn't get to.
I was sitting there looking at Two-Face and listening to him. I said, I love that Two-Face is here, but that's not Richard Mole.
Yeah.
My wife looks it up. And she's like, no, someone named Bruce Timm. I went, all right, well done.
You snuck in, you bastard.
Well done, Bruce. But I think I'm willing to. They took enough pains to make this canon.
I'm okay with it being canon.
And it's not like Batman and Harley Quinn. I'm not going, nope, this isn't it.
No, that I was willing to reject outright.
I enjoyed Jessica Cruz's storyline.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I showed her that scene out, the campground scene, the, ultra violent, holy shit, beginner, like 5 minutes into the movie scene. It was like, my wife went through and was like, hold on, let me show you something real quick. This isn't an animated movie. And I clicked to it and it was just like all three of them sitting there and you see the gun and then it cuts away to Jessica and then you hear the gunfire and the collapse and she's, oh my God. I was like, wait. And then it gets to the next scene. It's the girl like, no, please, no. And which is even more kind of violent in a way. And another gunshot body hits the ground. She's like, holy shit, are they showing this to kids? I was like, kind of no, but no, not really. It was like, these are the original voices of, like, basically this movie is made for me. Like, this is a bunch of people who want to hear Kevin Conroy. Yeah. And watch that when they're like, this is made for 30-year-olds that watch animated movies. So you're safe. Like, it's like, cause I don't like 8-year-olds shouldn't be watching these movies. Like, I kind of agree. That's pretty brutal.
That's pretty brutal. I would have loved that shit if I was 8 years old though.
Probably.
I would have been fine.
I think I would have been fine too.
I watched shit like that anyway.
It's one of those where like, I think I would have been fine too. But if you have an 8 or a 9-year-old and they're about to watch this movie, I would probably pull you aside and say, hey, there's a scene where this happens. Just before you, I would feel like they should be informed because that was pretty graphic. Yeah. But I really, really loved the portrayal of like Jessica's therapy. Yeah, was great. Like every day I'm getting better in every way or whatever she says, and just kind of wakes up like, it's bullshit. Her attitude. But
that was Diane Guerrera from Doom Patrol.
Nice.
That's Crazy Jane.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. That's awesome. God God, she's all over the therapy board. But the portrayal of therapy, how it works, how it feels, how she says later in her meetings, like, it's been 3 years. I just need something. Like, I need a magic trick. Like, I just need something that actually works, like a pill or something like that. Everybody who's ever been in therapy has that exact reaction at some point. Just, is there not, like, modern science doesn't have something you can just give me and make this go away? No.
Yeah.
I loved her arc as far as, like, her mental health goes in this movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I liked their portrayal of mental health, mental illness.
In general. Her and Starboy's.
Like Starboy, yeah.
Yeah. Now, as far as I know, there is no medication where, like, if you miss it once, you're done. I don't think that's a thing.
Well, that was a, futuristic drug that does not
futuristic
exist.
Drug that doesn't
who the hell knows actually what was wrong with that guy?
I know. I mean, it could be the same kinds of disorders in the future, and they have a medication that reacts differently. But currently, with current medications, you just get back on your meds.
And I loved like how everyone kept dismissing him and like, no, you stay here. Like, no, I'm a superhero. You don't understand. I'm a superhero. Please.
For that to pay off later with
and then he
that line
saves everyone.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
I knew it was going to
really
happen.
touching.
I knew he's going to save everyone. I just didn't know it was going to be in that way.
Yeah,
and that wound up being really powerful and really. I got a little choked up.
Very touching. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got a little choked up.
Yeah. Throat closed a little bit on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, him kind of like dully explaining. He's like, "No, I could use my ring. It'd take 1,000 Green Lanterns."
Mm-hmm.
Superman, he's not enough. Starboy, take me up there. Like, that was all.
Yeah,
that was all great.
And then for him to like, he's just so peacefully accepted that.
Don't
fate.
you see? It has to be me. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. God, I loved those guys being back though.
Mm-hmm. It felt great to hear him again. It really did. Like, it does the heart good.
When they're inside of his mind and he's showing him like the hall of the Legionnaires.
Yeah.
I like just started giggling. Told my wife, I was like, those DC Universe Classics figures that I have? She's like, yeah. Like, one day, if I ever have enough money, I'm going to buy the box set that's for the Legion. Mm-hmm. And the box set that's for the Legion, like, folds out. And it is that...
It's that scene, pretty much.
It is that scene, and they've just got, like, the actual packaging. Those will never come out of the box.
Yeah.
Because the packaging for those, they're all in their, like, displays. Mm-hmm. And there's even one that's empty for Invisible at.
Nice. Nice. Well done. Yeah. That'll go on your list at some point.
Oh, yeah. It's in my brain.
It was a cool scene, though, in general, just because you got to see everybody kind of see, like, Miss Martian getting to be like, I made it, and Jessica having to see herself and be like, fuck, I got to live up to that. And even better, Batman just doesn't look anything like me.
Yeah, I loved his reaction.
They did him well in this movie in general.
Yeah, he said something stupid as hell. He said something, but Kevin Conroy sold it so much, I giggled like a stupid schoolboy.
What?
I don't remember what it was. He said something it was some little stinger line that he said to somebody.
I think it was Bring It On, Skeletor.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Bring It On, Skeletor. And I was just like, that is so stupid, but that's awesome.
No, it made, that was fantastic.
I mean, dude, Conroy sells stuff.
He can sell stuff, but that was perfect. That was perfect for that line, and he nailed it. And then, like, there's a through line a little bit where Starboy says somewhere earlier is like, yeah, you should listen to Creepy Man or whatever word he calls him, Scary Man or something.
Scary Man, yeah.
Yeah, it's and even then, like later, he's telling what's his name? What is that guy's name? The guy that Skeletor. What's his actual name in this movie?
Dude, I don't know. I can't remember.
It's not like Adam. It's not Adam. It's Metro.
Theron.
No, that was Therok. Was the cyborg?
Therok. Okay, and there was Therok. There was Validus, but I think Validus was the brain dude.
Yeah, something like that.
Validus is the brain dude. I've seen that guy in other places. I'm not a big Legion guy. I'm not a big Legionnaires guy.
Should have written down his name.
Huge.
So, disintegrating dude. He's talking to him at some point, and he like you see him through the fight, kind of just like beat down that one arm, and he's like, "What was he?" I wrote it down. It's like, "You might not be human, but you fall like one."
Yeah.
Fuck. Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
And then just after that, Starboy shows up. Is like, he really is scary. It was perfect. It's perfect for that character. It's the same guy we watched when we were 9 years old. Man, it was perfect.
Yep. It was funny because I was thinking this the whole time. I was thinking about it the entire time. Mm-hmm. But as Starboy is like sacrificing himself, my wife looks at me and goes, "I'm a mother effing Starboy." It's stupid Weekend song. And I'm like, oh, I know.
No, that didn't even hit me. Most of the time watching Starboy, most of the time I was thinking like, dude, he's so powerful.
Yeah.
Like the ability to control density, like just actual density of objects. Jesus, that is off the charts. That is Omega level if you're in Marvel. That's absurd. And apparently he can do it with several at once. Like they make a moment of when he pulls himself out of the rubble and he pulls an entire fucking building up around himself. Like absurd power levels.
Yeah.
So I was enjoying I was completely distracted by that. And also how cool his costume is.
Mm-hmm.
Like really cool costume in the animated medium for it to kind of always be shimmering as though he's kind of like, it's as though you're seeing, like you ever use the like Google Earth, Google Sky or whatever they used to call it. But you can you could get this app, you can hold the phone wherever you want, and it'll show you what the constellations are.
I've never used that. That's awesome.
You can hold it at the ground and it'll show you what the constellations are supposed to look like on the other side of the Earth at that moment.
Oh, that's dope.
But that's what it looked like his costume was doing. Was like, it looked like everywhere you saw him, you were really just seeing the constellations that were out there behind him.
Yeah.
It was cool. Not to mention in his little finale, like the animation on the sun itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like that, somebody needs an award for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the character the whole time with the mental illness, I'm just following that and his little storyline of, like you said, getting left behind over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot going on with him. I enjoyed it. Like, I wish we had more time with him.
Yeah. Being pushed aside, that was all good stuff.
And then having a very touching funeral where, people from the future show up to on that day because they must know in the future that was the day. Like, that's a lot. It was a powerful scene.
Yeah. And I liked his character a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm from the future. Yeah, I'm in the past. Okay, you're scared of the costume.
Yeah. Just go nude. Yeah. What was that he said? Scary guy should let you help.
Yep.
Also, apparently, I liked Jessica's arc in this thing, but a lot of fun when she finally kind of goes into full limelight.
Mm-hmm.
Like later on in the movie when she really flexes her muscles and she just leveled a mountain and beat the people that took out the Justice League. All right,
if anything, that was cool, but it also, like, in some ways felt a little sudden for her to be switched so much.
For me, it was a yes and no. Like, the whole movie revolves around, it was one of my favorite lines of it, was actually the Ring sitting there at some point telling her, like, you're a Green Lantern, you can do whatever. It's like, you're a Ring, you don't know dick. Loved that. Really loved that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of different from every other Green Lantern that you've seen before. Like, Guy Gardner's ego is, like, enhanced by it. Jon Stewart's made humble by it. Hal Jordan is emboldened by it. Kyle Rayner is just, like, almost enslaved by it. Like, well, I guess I must be that brave if you're telling me I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes along and was like, you're a fucking Ring. I've been in therapy for 3 years and I can barely get out of bed. Go fuck off.
Yep.
It's great. And, like, the whole story arc goes, is all about her just coming to this point where she's emboldened and as she puts it later, like, Starboy, he'll always be my hero because, she says it in a different order, but she says, like, he kept telling me I was brave until I believed it, which was a cool line. Like, her whole eulogy for Starboy was really well written.
Yeah.
Even including the, like, MLK line about, like, in the darkness, that's the only time we can see the stars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just, it was a well-written eulogy. Well-written part of the movie, but that worked for me a lot, though. It was like, she was always a Green Lantern waiting to happen, and then there's this catalytic moment. There's this character who comes along at the right time, all that. That worked for me. It was a well-built part of the story. And then she was a badass.
Uh-huh.
It was fun. I enjoyed watching her whip everybody's ass at the end of that. Like, when she just takes the dude's arm off, I was like, fuck yeah, that needed to happen before. Superman should have just done that when he had the chance. Just,
oh, that's not Superman, as we've been told, timeless.
What?
Superman's not just going to rip somebody's arm off. It's Superman.
No, he'll just rip an arm off. That's just a biological arm. Wow.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
We must have lost power. That little battery thing saved us.
Let's wrap up and export that before we
That was terrifying.
I was like, well, I guess we'll do this later. Yeah, the sound is even different. We need to wrap this up now and export.
All right.
I don't have much else to say. I think it was a great movie.
We just had some weird stuff happen with our text.
Yeah,
so.
we're going to wrap this up. We're going to
wrap
bounce
this up, and
the angels have come to our aid once, and we're not going to press it.
Right.
My favorite part. I didn't say how I voted.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. That was a Miss Martian. She was...
Those two, I enjoyed those two. Those two should be together in the future. I like that.
What two should be together in the future?
Miss Martian and Batman. I like their dynamic.
Like romantically?
No.
Oh, good.
No, I like their back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he's like, I don't like to work with teenagers, and she turns into
Robin.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Don't push it.
Yep. All right.
Bounce.
We're gonna wrap up.
We still have a chance.
Thank you guys for listening. Patreon.com/DC on Screen. DCOnScreen.com for everything. Keep some DC on your screen.
Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52, Week 4. It was performed by me, David C. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Future Elevators, could be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Effie Oppelders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud. It can also be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We are proudly in partnership with TV Time, the TV show calendar and social media site that lets you keep track of what you're watching, what your friends are watching, and where you all left off. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, an improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Are you maladjusted?